Hey, welcome back to the channel. Now, what we're going to be discussing today is the upcoming Premier League games of the weekend. There's going to be a few big crunch ties. Let's start off with Newcastle v Arsenal. That's going to be a very big game. There's obviously a few injuries out for Arsenal. It's always a hard game against Newcastle when you're playing over at Newcastle away. They got playing much better than they were playing previously. They're starting to impose themselves on the home games. I think this could possibly be maybe a 1-1 draw or 1-0 win to Arsenal. It just depends how Arsenal set up over there. I mean, they've got to put Havertz up front, really. You can't have him as a midfielder. If you want to be successful up there, they've got to put Havertz up there, put Trossard and Martinelli on the wings, and have Marino, obviously Declan Rice, and I would say Partey in the wing. Yeah, I mean in the midfield. I mean, those would be the most sensible placements if you're looking to win the match. If they go all cagey and they don't go in offensive mode, then strikers like Gordon and other players like Gudjamares and Amrion could easily hurt them. And Newcastle probably could even snatch a win, a 2-1 win or something. But I personally think it's going to probably be like a 1-1 draw or a 1-0 win to Arsenal. Now let's move on to Man City v Bournemouth. City at the moment have only about 13, 14 outfield players. They've got quite a few injuries. They've got De Bruyne injured, Rodri injured, several other players injured. So it's quite tough, but they're just a very resilient team. And with Haaland up front, I mean, it's always going to be likely that he'll score a goal. He didn't score a goal 3 matches, and then he got one in the last match. Bournemouth are playing very well. As you know, they beat Arsenal 10 days ago. So I mean, let's see how things go. I think this could be, again, I think City will probably just clinch at 1-0, or it could be a 1-1 draw. I don't see Bournemouth winning. I think Bournemouth don't have enough in their tank to actually beat City. Next one is obviously Liverpool v Brighton. I would say that this could be a draw 1-1. Brighton are a very offensive team, very good, or Liverpool will just overrun them and it'll be 2-0, 3-0 to them. It just depends how offensive and defensively at the same time Brighton can be. With Motto in their team, and obviously other players like Ferguson and Shard, they can give many problems to Liverpool. But when you've got people like Salah, Nunez and Diaz up front, it's always going to be hard for you, especially at Anfield. So I think more than likely probably about 2-0 win to Liverpool. But let's wait and see. It could end up as a draw, we don't know. Then let's go on to the Ipswich-Leicester game. Now that one has got 0-0 draw written all over it. I mean, Vardy's getting old up front. Ipswich have Dilap and also Ahmadi in the wings, ex-AFC Wimbledon player. But neither of them, I think they've just cancelled themselves out. I think it'd be a very, very cagey game. And I don't see either team coming out on top. So I predict that will either be a 0-0 or 1-0 win. Let's see what happens. It could be different, but I don't think so. And then you have other games, obviously, like Southampton v Everton. I think Everton will come on top of Southampton 2-1 to Everton. I think Everton are finding their form at the moment. I think they'll be too strong for Southampton. Southampton is one of the teams I expect to be relegated at the end of the season, even with Ramsdale in goal. I just think they're not attacking enough, and the defence isn't very good. It's quite sloppy, as has been shown so far this season. So I think Everton might probably, even though they're away from home, will win that 2-1. Now let's go on to the matches on Sunday. Now the matches on Sunday, again, have got some good teams playing. With such teams as Tottenham v Aston Villa. And that'll be a very interesting game because both teams are playing well. Tottenham and Aston Villa are both playing well. They've both got excellent players like Watkins for Aston Villa, Solanke for Tottenham, and Tottenham are starting to show some form again. However, they can be indifferent as well. But I do fancy Tottenham maybe nicking 1-0 against Aston Villa at home. I just got this feeling they're going to be just a little bit too strong. if Aston Villa play very well on the day and everything links up properly, maybe they could come up with a 2-1 win. But I think Tottenham are just going to be too strong for them, and they're going to win that match. And then there's Manchester United v Chelsea. Now we wait to see if the new manager gets obviously appointed before this game. I think if he gets appointed this game, it'll be a 1-1 draw with Manchester United v Chelsea. I think the players will be already playing for their places, so I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. However, if he's not appointed, I fancy Chelsea to win it 2-1. I think players like Jackson, which I'm quite surprised with, I thought didn't rate him until the end of last season. But he's starting to play very well. Cole Palmer, of course, brilliant player, and he just outshines people like Rashford up front from Manchester United, and also Garnacho. They just outshines them. I think the Chelsea players and the team play in a much more controlled mode, much more attacking mode than Manchester United do. But let's wait and see. I mean, it could be different, but I fancy Chelsea to win that 2-1 at Man United. And finally, Wolves v Crystal Palace. Now, normally I would say it's got 0-0 draw written all over it, but I think Palace have really upped their game. I can see them actually going to Wolves, who are really struggling this season. Another team I feel will be relegated at the end of the season, and I fancy Palace to take a 2 or 3-0 win with that, with players like Mateta up front, Eze as well, and they're starting to pick up and show some form. And with Wharton in midfield, and Gueye in defence, they just are really starting to find the form they had towards the end of last season. So I reckon they could actually win a 2 or 3-0 against Wolves. But you never know, could be different. However, I don't think so. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on what I said. If you disagree with any of my predictions, please let me know. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.